Hello, welcome to Modern Survival Arts, the $10 Dollar Store Challenge with the Harbor Freight Tools Expansion Pack. So, maybe you've seen these videos going around the internet. There's a $10 survival kit challenge based on going to a dollar store and buying $10 worth of items. The rules of the challenge are that the items have to be able to provide you with fire, shelter, at least 2 meals, and have to be able to survive being dunked in water for 60 seconds. So I thought I'd try my hand at it. I went to a local Dollar Tree store. And at the Dollar Tree store, you'll find many of the same things you find at any Dollar Tree store. So some of the items that I bought, you might find in some other videos by some of the other folks. So the first thing that I got was the bread and loaf pan, and a hat tip to the Hidden Woodsman. He pointed this out in his $10 survival store challenge, and I ended up getting the same bread pan that he got. They're actually pretty heavy duty. You can boil water, you can cook food. There was a little bowl that I also found in the store made out of stainless steel. However, when I looked at the bowl and compared it to this, the bowl holds less water. It will be inconvenient to try to get it in and out of the coals on the fire, and frankly the corner shapes of this provide a much better pouring ability than the circular bowl. So I went with the bread and loaf pan. Second, I decided to do something a little bit different in terms of knives. There was a wide selection of knives in the Dollar Tree store in the kitchen section. I went with the paring knives. I've not opened the box yet, or the container yet. There are 4 paring knives here made out of stainless steel. They should be fairly sharp. Obviously they're fairly small and fairly lightweight. Good for small little tasks, cutting cord, maybe doing some fine whittling. We'll test this out later. However, what I figured is that the larger knives that they had probably were not sturdy enough to do bigger tasks, such as batoning wood and that sort of thing. So I was better off going with a smaller, easier to control knife. Also, I have 4 of them, so if one breaks, I have 3 more. After looking at the various ropes and twines and assorted cordage that they had at the Dollar Tree store, I ended up going with the polypropylene twine 3-pack. Fairly strong. There's 148 feet total, or 45 meters of twine in this 3-pack. So that's a pretty good amount of cord, and it's polypropylene. It'll be fairly strong. It'll be good for shelter making, that sort of thing. For my shelter, I went with the shower curtain liner. When I first looked in this row, they had shower curtains and shower curtain liners. Upon further inspection of them, the shower curtain liners appear to be stronger, thicker. They're also made with 100% PVC. I'm not sure what the shower curtains themselves were made out of, but if you think about your shower, right, this is the part that's designed to be the wet part in the shower and keep the water inside the shower, as opposed to the shower curtain itself, which quite frankly are often made out of cotton and not waterproof in any way. So this is 70 inches by 72 inches, and this would form the basis of my waterproof shelter. And for fire, they had matches. Some folks have gone with the boxes of matches. I decided to go with the 3 lighters. There's a risk, obviously, that a lighter might break, but I have 3 of them. I should be able to get good fire from this, and that should not be a problem at all. Some people went ahead and went with candles in addition to matches. I think there'll be enough natural material that I'll be able to make a fire out in the woods without needing a candle or something else. So far, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, $5 worth of items right here. I also went with a light. If you spend any time in the woods at night, it's always helpful to have a light. They had several different kinds. This one I could actually test to make sure it worked before I bought it. You know, this will be fairly bright at night. I can also attach it to my belt loop or to a jacket a pull or something like that, and it actually extends out. I can use it and point it wherever I need it to go. They did have different types of lights as shown in the following picture. This is the one I settled on. It came with batteries already prepared, already included. So the other requirement is to have 2 meals, but frankly, the dollar store, that's not the place to go to get food. Even if you want cheap food, that's really not the place I would go. However, within the limits of the challenge, I went for 2 meals of Chef Boyardee mini ravioli. Frankly, I remember liking this a long time ago. I liked the way it tasted. You know, what good is food if it's not, if it doesn't taste halfway decent and edible. It also gives me cans if I need cans for containers afterwards. It's got a pull tab, so although I normally have a P38 in my regular survival kit, I won't need the P38 military can opener for this. I can just use the pull tabs. And each one of these includes about 440, 450 calories. So each one of these is roughly a meal. I have water. I got the gallon jug of water. This one, I'll be able to refill that and be able to use that, continue to use that well into the future. Now, I got another item that's a little bit different from, I think, what other people got. I got Clorox bleach. This is the concentrated version. I've not done the calculation yet, but it's a fairly simple calculation to figure out how much of this you need to add to a gallon of water. Once I know how much I need to add to a gallon of water, I can actually mark that level inside the cap. So I have a set cap that gives me a set measure for how much bleach I need to add to a gallon of water in order to disinfect it. And I have a gallon jug that I can refill as needed. So one of the nice benefits of this, although I can boil water in this little bread pan, one of the nice benefits of this is I can basically get a lot of gallons of water out of this Clorox bleach using my gallon jug. And the whole disinfection process is something to be discussed at another time. But that makes up my 10 items. So I've got plenty of water, well past the overnight or the 2-day type of challenge. I've got 2 meals. I have twine, rope. I have lighters for fire. I have knives for cutting. I have a shower curtain liner for my shelter, a pan for boiling, and a little flashlight. So those are my 10 items. Now, as I walked around the store, obviously there were a lot of choices and trade-offs here. It's a dollar store, so I did look at a couple other items, and I kind of call this my expansion kit, if you will, from the Dollar Tree store. But a couple things. We were going to go to $12 as my limit. I have duct tape, which might come in handy. I can use that, if nothing else, to reinforce places that I want to attach the line to my shelter. or if I get a hole in my shelter, I can fix it. Also, I got garbage bags. These are 7 bags. Each one is a 39-gallon bag. I could use one bag to store a bunch of this equipment in. I could also use a couple of these bags, fill them with leaves and stuff, and make a fairly waterproof insulated mattress to sleep on. I could even use several of these to help waterproof a shelter further if I needed to. So a lot of uses for these. You know, I live in the Northeast United States. Waterproof ability is not something that's easily found in nature, so you can never have too much of it, I think. So anyway, those are the items in my $10 Dollar Tree Survival Kit Challenge, along with the 2 additional items if we wanted to up it to $12. You know, doing the Dollar Tree Challenge made me think about what other options are out there. You know, right now in the area where I live, we had overnights this past weekend where it was 0 degrees. We've had within the past 2 or 3 weeks almost 3 feet of snow. In addition to that, we've had rain, we've had temperatures in the 40s. You know, the situation varies tremendously. And in fact, one of my goals for the $10 Dollar Store Challenge is to take the kit that I put together today, and once the weather gets warmer, I'm going to go out and actually use those items and spend an overnight in the woods and video that. So that will actually be part 2. But it also made me think a little bit, you know, what could I get out there that wouldn't cost a whole lot more money and yet would greatly increase my survivability. You know, especially if I were in a climate like right now. I still would not love having to survive out there in the weather that we've had recently. But with the $10 survival kit items, you know, unless I could build a blazing fire and keep it going pretty much all the time, and really start building the shelter up, it would, you know, take a bit to survive. So I went to Harbor Freight Tools, and I spent $41.29, of which $2.39 or $2.34 was sales tax. So it actually came in at under $40. So if you had an additional $40 and you went to Harbor Freight Tools, what could you buy that would add it to your dollar store kit, could actually greatly improve your chances of survival? So I got a few things. One thing, I got this folding knife. The folding knife was $4.99, stainless, 3 1/16" blade. And this folding knife is, you know, probably a pretty good improvement over the paring knives. It's probably not the most tremendous knife that ever was crafted. However, you know, it's better than those little paring knives. I also bought, and I don't have it with me, I think I left it in the car. I also bought a folding saw, an 8-inch folding saw. So you've seen the kinds of saws before, typical pruning saw. But in shelter building, I found those little pruning saws, the folding pruning saws, to be pretty good. You know, once again, you know, that cost $5.99, so it's not going to be the best folding saw that was ever built. However, you know, it's going to beat just using muscle power and trying to snap branches and things like that. I'll have a lot more control over cutting the things I need for my shelter. As for the shelter itself, I got the 9-foot 4-inch by 11-foot 4-inch medium duty dual use tarp. It says that it has it's got rope reinforced hems, and it has grommets approximately every 3 feet. So a 9-foot by 11-foot tarp basically is going to give me a lot better shelter options than the shower curtain liner that I got before. To go with the tarp, I also got 3/8" by 75 feet camouflage poly rope. Frankly, I won't need all this, but I would plan to use some of this to help setting up the shelter and whatever other needs that I had. I would prefer a smaller braided cord. They didn't have a lot of options there, and I was looking to not have bright colors. So this was my main option. 3/8 inch by 75 feet camouflage poly rope. And the tarp itself cost $10.99 and the rope cost $5.99. And then finally, to give myself a little bit of warmth, I actually looked at the moving blankets they have there. They had one online that was a poly-filled, poly-covered blanket, a moving blanket, and it was even camouflage. I thought it might be pretty useful. They did not have it at the store that I went to. I think it was about $10 in price. I could have ordered it online. However, at the store, when I was there, they had the 60 by 80 inch wool blanket. I don't think this is going to be super warm, but at least it's a blanket. It'll provide me with some warmth and some insulation. It's 80% wool and 20% polyester. So it's a blend. But it should help me to retain sun heat and stay a little bit warmer. So we'll call that my Harbor Freight Tools Store expansion pack for my $10 survival kit. And that cost just under $40 without tax. So as I said, part 2 of this video will be where I take the $10 survival store kit or dollar store kit and I actually go out and I use it overnight and film that. I'm going to wait for warmer weather. It's mid-February right now, so expect part 2 maybe in April or May. I will talk to you later from Modern Survival Arts. Have a great evening and thanks very much.
Okay, so why should we do the $10 challenge at all? That's one of the things I did not discuss when I initially made this video, but I want to take it up now. First, you can do this challenge as a test to your own skills, if you follow through and actually try to use the kit for a night or two out in the woods. Otherwise, all you tested were your shopping skills, and that doesn't really do you any good. But second, and more importantly, once you've done this challenge, you have no excuse about going into the woods or the wilderness without a survival kit. Whether you're camping, hiking, kayaking, mountain biking, whether you decide to go on a trip for work, and while you're there you can get in a quick hike for an afternoon or a Saturday, or you're on vacation and you decide to go for a hike and you did not bring your normal gear with you because maybe you had to fly, this is an inexpensive remedy that could save your life in an emergency during one of those trips. A half an hour and $10 at the Dollar Tree store or at any kind of dollar store, and you should be able to come away with a few basic items that will up your chances to survive in an emergency out in the woods. And third and finally, luck favors the prepared. So be prepared. Thanks again from Modern Survival Arts. Good night.